I was probably among the few in my group of comic book aficionados and friends who really enjoyed the work of one Rob Liefeld. He drew weird feet, and it was an ongoing thing. Rob Liefeld and feet. But I did genuinely enjoy his art, and his storytelling wasn't bad. It's not often that you get somebody who can draw and write a good story like he does. So I want to get into this article right here from firstcomicsnews.com. Liefeld set to blow the doors off comic shops. Youngblood #1 shreds through first printing ahead of next week's launch. Now, I believe, and I could be mistaken on this. I believe when he did Youngblood #1 initially, it was sold on his website. I might be mistaken on this because I know there'd been a lot of talks, and I was almost positive that #1 and #2 and #3 maybe were already out. I could be mistaken because I haven't really kept up. But I want to see what he does with this, because from what I hear, it's not just a redo or a remaster of what we got in the early 90s. I hear this is like a brand new beginning, a brand new story. This is a quote from Robert Kirkman. Comics as a whole are better off when there's a Rob Liefeld Youngblood comic on the stands. Rob always brings the fast-paced, high-octane action spectacle you're looking for, but I love that there's always some kind of new idea or innovation present in everything he does. If this series isn't on your pull list, you must like dull comics, so I can't help you. Why are you reading this? Yeah. And you could argue that Robert Kirkman said this just to say some kind words about Rob Liefeld, but I don't think that. I think he actually meant every word that he said. And I agree. Say what you want about Rob Liefeld. Any comic book he is on, it really is going to be fast-paced action. It's going to come at you, and it's going to be unrelenting. Rob's Youngblood is back where it belongs in every conceivable way, including the top of my reading pile. Bad Rock for Life, Geoff Johns, Geiger, Doomsday Clock. So this is all people who are praising this release. Wall-to-wall Youngblood action. This isn't nostalgia. It's not a remake or a 90s throwback. This is one of comics' all-time most explosive talents, showing the rest of us what pure adrenaline looks like on the page. In case you forgot, Tom Fleece's A Local Man, Stray Dogs, Feral. I haven't read any of those. Maybe they're great. Maybe somebody will say, what? You don't notice it? Yeah, don't know it. Sorry. But with that said, I will agree, like I said, that Rob Liefeld's stories, at least every story I've seen him attached to, it has been fast-paced, non-stop, go, go, go action. That's just what this dude does. A smash hit. It says Rob Liefeld's long-awaited return to Youngblood is already a smash hit. Youngblood 2025 launch will break the meter with the #1 issue shipping sold out to retail locations nationwide ahead of its release next week. And obviously, these are the books that have gone to the stores, but I would venture to say that they probably know fans are excited. I tell you what, when did it relaunch? Cyberforce relaunched a few years back, and I was really excited. Cyberforce was one of my favorite teams from the 90s out of that Image Comics group. It didn't quite have the punch that I wanted it to have, but I did enjoy the relaunch while it was going. I don't know if they stopped that series or what was going on, There was a while where I didn't see any new issues. I had a traveling job at the time, so I really wasn't keeping up. Fans are encouraged to contact their local comic shop post haste to reserve a copy or risk missing out on a first printing of this monumentous launch. Image Comics will rush the issue back to print this week in order to meet already surging reorder demand and bridge the gap in supply for retailers. So there must be some buzz around this, otherwise people wouldn't want to pick this up. I like Rob Liefeld's art, even with all the critiques and criticisms he got. Look, I'm not going to say the criticisms were unwarranted, but I just never saw anything in his art that made me cringe to the point that I didn't want to read at all. Now, I know everybody's going to bring up the Captain America bulging chest image. Yeah, it was crazy. We all know it was crazy. But hey, I still love Rob Liefeld. I love what he does. It says the Youngblood 2025 #1 second printing cover throws it back to one of the 90s most iconic covers, Liefeld's New Mutants #98, and the first appearance of Deadpool, Gideon, and Domino. This new take swaps in Youngblood's next-gen trio Vandal, Xerxes, and Plasemics, however you say it. Die Hard, Shaft, Vogue, and Badrock step in for Cable, Cannonball, Boom Boom, and Sunspot, resulting in a homage that deserves a spot in every fan's collection. And I love the throwback to those old comic book covers. Look, some of those covers, even like I can go back into my stash and grab out a comic book from 1991, and it still holds its place as some of the best artwork and some of the best covers in comic books. This is the time for gratitude, said Liefeld. Grateful to the Youngblood fans that have roared with their enthusiasm. Grateful to every retail partner that took the leap with their support. Grateful to comic stores, the backbone of our market. We rely on them to reach the masses. And I gotta express my thanks to everyone at Image Comics who provided guidance and enthusiasm. Enjoy this comic. The road to Youngblood #100 starts here. So I guess this is like official relaunch. He's planning on going for the long haul. And I gotta say, I'm glad that Liefeld did not sell Youngblood to like a Marvel or a DC or anybody. I'm glad he kept control of this, because I'm pretty sure Jim Lee sold Wildstorm. Was it to DC? Pretty sure he sold it to DC, which not necessarily a problem, but Wildcats just like went away. Wildcats, look, that's a dope team. You get the right artist and a good story on Wildcats, and I think that will be one of the best-selling comic books of the recent time. Like I said, you get the right artist and a good story. It's such a great team. Anyway, I digress. This Youngblood launch boasts a wild roster of variant covers for fans to get pumped up about, including sleek manga-inspired black and white editions, a full-blown variant blitz with a jaw-dropping 27 retailer exclusives, 30 epic team-up covers, and a wave of must-have incentive ratio variants set to dominate comic shop shelves. Some people don't like it. Some people don't like all of the variant covers. I don't necessarily mind the variant covers, but when I walk in my comic shop, I always, tell all the guys in there, I don't really care about variant covers. I don't care about blind bags or none of that. I buy to read. So it's not about getting this exclusive cover. I don't mind getting an exclusive cover, but that's not necessarily what I'm going for. I just want the good books. Just tell me, what books do you recommend that are good I want to read? The original Youngblood #1 marked the opening salvo in the Image Revolution and remains one of the best-selling independent comics of all time with sales over 1 million copies. I don't know if the industry will ever get back to that, but I will tell you, 1 million copies sold is bonkers. And that was in the 90s. That's bonkers. Can you imagine with inflation and how much comics cost now, the amount of money you would make off 1 million copies sold? Good grief. With Liefeld finally back at the helm of his signature creation, Youngblood is in full power mode once again. Youngblood 2025 #1 printing will be available at comic shops on Wednesday, November 12th. Now, I don't always get to my comic shop on Wednesday. I kind of go in and I get what I get. I don't have a pull list. And the reason I don't have a pull list is I'm notorious for starting a series, starting some books. And at some point, depending on how the story goes, I might lose interest, if it gets dry. And I know it's silly, but I get the book when I get the book. That's just how it's always been for me. I'm not like most people that have because look, here's the deal. If I started a pull list for every single book that I wanted, that would be just such a huge list. So I just say, you know what? I'm going to go to comic book shop. If it's there, it's there. If it's not, there's somewhere I can find it if I really want it that bad. That's kind of how I approach it. Cover A, Rob Liefeld, polybagged and collectible card. Ooh, I like that. Cover B, Rob Liefeld, Lunar Code foil cover. Cover C, Skottie Young. Cover D, Ryan Stegman. Cover E, Daniel Warren Johnson. Ooh, okay. Cover F, Ryan Ottley. Cover G, Blank Sketch. Cover H, Incentive by Kel New. Cover one. I said cover one. Cover I, by E.M. Gist, J, Mark Spears, K, Liefeld, sign CGC graded foil. Okay. Cover L, original art sketch by Liefeld. Cover M, black and white manga. I guess they're calling that black and white manga edition. Whether it's really manga, who knows? And then it shows you some of the covers. I'm a simple guy. I don't mind foil covers. I don't mind foil covers at all. I have some. I've bought plenty foil covers. But I like the regular, just comic book art cover. Just show me some heroes in a standing pose, a kneeling pose like this, just some dope action pose. I'm good with it. That's a good one. I like the black and white one. This is a good cover right here. This is a very good cover. I know to the artists out there, you look at Rob Liefeld's feet and the way he draws it, you're like, this guy, why does he do feet that way? I don't know. To this day, I don't know, but I still like his art. This is probably one of my favorite covers right here, the Treasury Edition. I like that cover. I think this is good. I'm probably going to buy this. If my comic shop doesn't have it, I'll just order it from Midtown Comics. I'm sure Midtown Comics, they always have what I need. Always. If my comic shop doesn't have it, because I don't like asking them to just, if nobody else is buying, I don't want them to just order one just for me. So I'll just order from somewhere else. But I definitely spend money in my local comic shop. And I agree with what was said in this article. I don't think there's something, and I mentioned this before, there is something about going into the comic book shop, having conversations with the people in there, and just enjoying the whole atmosphere and the time. I just don't think that's going to be replaced.